On day 111, tonight, it's thunderstorming. You probably hear a lot of different noises in the background. It seems like it's died down for a minute, so hopefully we get a little bit of quiet. But that's going to go along with my message today. Because I was thinking about the forecast, and all day it kind of felt like it was looming. And it can, of course, arrange and rearrange people's priorities for the day when you know that thunderstorms are coming and possible tornado warnings, and your mind can often go to the worst. And not only can it rearrange your day, like if you have my nephew had a baseball tournament, things can get canceled, and it can literally rearrange your day for scheduling reasons, but also just from an anxiety perspective, because nothing can remind us how small we are than a huge natural occurrence like a tornado, for example. And I have a lot of anxiety, but one thing I don't have anxiety for is natural disasters. I have some sort of calm peace about them. I'm kind of like that Midwestern guy that likes to go out on my porch and watch massive storms. Again, I've got anxiety in other facets of my life, but I do know a lot of people that have a lot of anxiety when it comes to weather events. But either way, whether it's a weather event or for me, like the anxiety of the doctor going in for like a surgery, for example, where you have to get put under, I think most all humans have some form, one way or the other, of issue with being not in control. That's why a lot of people don't like to fly in an airplane, for example, or like I said, get a surgery, or like these weather events. So that's what the video today is going to be about, is being out of control. And when you're not in control, it can absolutely make our mind go to the worst possible outcome. We can start to panic. It can make us really uncomfortable. But one thing that I've really tried to work on over the last 5 years, because I started to develop some really bad control issues with my anxiety in the past years ago, very slowly started to work on understanding and remembering that whether I like it or not, I am not in control of a lot of outcomes in my life, whether that be my long-term health, whether that be, the safety of my kids and my wife when they drive to the store, relying on thousands of other drivers that they might pass, whether I'm, again, in a storm physically. There's so many things that can go through our day and our week that can have an external factor, and it can really start to drive us crazy because we're not in control. But again, just really trying to be at peace with the fact that I can control the controllables, which is taking care of my body, which is relying on God, which is developing a spiritual relationship, leading my family, all of these really good things. But the things that are outside of my control, how can I just truly cast my anxieties on Jesus and remember that I'm a lot better off in the long run, because he is in control. So the quote that I have today, I wrote, God is bigger than time, dates, and appointments. He wants you to move through the day with a quiet heart, an inward assurance that he is in control. So I think, again, a thunderstorm and possible tornado like tonight is just a really good reminder that, yeah, absolutely bad things can happen, but it does me no good. It does anyone very little good to go to worst possible outcomes. So no matter if we like it or not, we will go through physical or mental storms throughout our life. And how can we take this just as an example to cast our anxieties on him and to really just try to live that life where our yoke is easy and our burden is light, because we know where our eternity lies. We know that we have grace. We know that we are loved. We know that we're not perfect, but we're pursuing Jesus. We're trying to be a vessel for him. And it can really just free your mind in moments of trouble. All throughout the Bible, we've referenced Paul, especially like writing in Romans, talking about facing adversity, but relying on Jesus even amidst his adversity. We've talked about the book of Daniel, so many different stories in there of real life, major adversity, and in the midst of that, giving it to Jesus. David writes a lot about that in Psalms. So I'm just noticing a lot of common themes in the Bible is when someone felt internally out of control because of their own terrible decisions, or someone's land was being invaded, or uh, they didn't have any food to eat because there was some uh, famine that was taking it out. Amidst human adversity, like Job's another really good example, amidst a lot of massive adversity, people can, yeah, you can freak out, but can you still trust God in the moments where you feel out of control? And that's what I'm trying to do as a human. Not perfect at it, still working on it. Still definitely working on it. But that's my encouragement today, is give it to God even amidst not feeling in control. So I'll leave you with this. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21. I've read this before, but it says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Like, we can try to go our own direction. We can try to take the reins of control. We can try to make these grand personal plans. But if it's not within God's plan, it's either going to lead to disappointment or you not being happy, or God will humble you and you're going to realize that the plans that you made are not sustainable. One of the two is going to happen, and either way, it's going to lead to not long-term happiness. Any decision apart from God will not lead to long-term happiness or joy. So just remember that, like, humble yourself before God. It's what I'm working on. And know that the plans that we make for ourselves, if it's apart from God, if it's selfish ambition, it's not going to lead to long-term sustainability. That's what I got today. Hopefully these storms pass. Again, it's in God's hands. He is greater than I. We're going to lean on him in our physical storms and our personal battles in the years ahead. And that's day 111.